Hello and welcome to the Federal. I am Jarida and today we have with us Geert Velde, who is the CEO of Chessable, an e-learning platform for mastering the board game. The International Chess Olympiad in Chennai has been the talk of the town for quite some time now, and the buzz around it only seems to be getting louder by the day. Vanderbilt shot to fame recently when he tweeted about his love for Indian food after enjoying a meal at a popular vegetarian restaurant. His tweet grabbed a lot of eyeballs, with even the Prime Minister retweeting it. Greet, thank you so much for joining us today. And so, to begin with, how do you find this Chess Olympiad? Is this any different from what you've seen before, and what do you like about this Olympiad?
It's been really, really wonderful experience. The reception here in Chennai by the people of Chennai and like the organization has been really welcoming. And you can tell that there's a lot of love for chess here, besides a lot of love for food. And so it's been a really, really great experience.
Okay, so do you think the Chess Olympiad in Chennai has provided the perfect platform to advertise this board game at an international level?
Yeah, I mean, um, I don't think that chess is as popular in other areas of the world in the same way that it is in India. I think, especially in India, it is really, really close, I think, to what people in India appreciate. And like if you compare it to like other countries in the West, there's not as many countries in the West where chess has this kind of like central, can be in the central media for so long. With so many journalists and so many people from all over the place like coming to help out and volunteer. So that's really special. And of course, the Chess Olympiad is very special at the beginning because you have people from hundreds of countries coming flying in from all over the place only every 2 years to play in this team event. So that makes it very special. And I would say the biggest credit goes out to the organizers because they had such a short amount of time to organize such a huge event with so many people. Because up until February of this year, I think the Olympiad was supposed to be organized in Moscow. So really, it's only been, I think, since about March that we've known that the Olympiad was going to be organized in Chennai. And the fact that they pulled it off with only 4.5 months or 5 months worth of preparation is really amazing.
Okay. So there have been a lot of crowds at the Chess Olympiad, and there are a lot of budding chess players also coming in and witnessing the event. So when you see all that, does it make you hopeful that there are better days ahead for the game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, the young Indian players are really making having a big impact. If you can see that a young player like Mukesh is currently on 6 out of 6. You know, he's won every one of his games on board one and has led his team throughout the Olympiad. Like, and that's India too, right? And you still have the Indian team one that's also doing really well. And I think today is actually it's the seventh round, and it's an all-Indian affair for India one versus India three. So that will be interesting to see. But there's so many other young players. Abdul Sattarov, notably also playing really great chess, and some other young players like they're. You can see that this next generation is just coming up, and I think in 2 years from now, the national teams with the kind of experienced elite that we've kind of gotten used to seeing playing in these Olympiad teams, I think we're finally going to see in the next 2 years, we'll finally see these teams change. I think the next generation is here, and they're extremely strong. And in 2 years from now, they will be the new top 10. Like some of these players that we're seeing now, like Mukesh undoubtedly will be the top 10 player. I think we'll see many of these young kids in a couple of years. They will be the top 10, and those Olympiad teams will consist of those kids.
Okay. So what brings you here to Chennai? Are any of the players you coached or from your academy participating in the Olympiad?
Chessable is an online learning platform. We publish chess courses by the top players in the world. and we have built a software for other chess academies and other chess coaches to use called Chessable Classroom. So we're in the business of building the tools that others use to improve at chess. So I haven't personally coached any player, and I wouldn't recommend anybody get coaching from me because I'm not a very strong player. But we're very good at building the tools that the really strong coaches and the really strong players can use to their advantage, and that's our mission. Chessable is to make chess studying more fun and efficient, and to use the science of learning to inform us to build a better product. And that's why we're here, because we sponsored the Olympiad. A lot of the players here at the Olympiad have published chess courses with us. So a lot of the top Indian players, but also Magnus Carlsen, and many other players, they've published courses on Chessable, and so it's really great to connect with all those authors here and meet them in person. Most of the stuff happens online.
Okay. So, what is your experience of India been, especially in Tamil Nadu, the people, the culture, and obviously the food you've been trying out around?
I had no idea that if you said something nice about food being really good, which I absolutely love the food here, that people would be so happy and receptive to the fact that I'm so excited about the food. But I think in Tamil Nadu, especially, people take a lot of pride in their cuisine, and rightfully so, because it's really something special. And so it's been really fun for me to kind of share my beginner's journey into the richness and the depths of Tamil Nadu cuisine and Indian cuisine per se, and to get so many people to respond, and then they share new dishes that I should try or restaurants that I should go and visit. And I think I've got so many recommendations that probably for the rest of my life I can continue to explore all of Tamil Nadu and still not have tried every single dish because people are so excited to share. But it's definitely been an eye-opening experience.
Okay. So, how did you feel when the Prime Minister retweeted your tweet?
It was a bit surreal because we were out to dinner actually, and I got a direct message on Twitter from somebody who said, "Oh, you were retweeted by Modi," and I thought it was a joke. I was like, "What? No, why would he retweet my tweet?" And then I took a look, and indeed, my tweet had been retweeted by him a few hours before that. But at that point, that tweet had been going viral for about a day. So I was getting so many notifications, I couldn't keep apart who's what anymore, because I was just seeing a list of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of names of people retweeting this thing. So it kind of got lost on me. And then eventually, when somebody pointed it out to me, I went to go look, and then I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that this happened." So it was a nice surprise.
Okay. So, I was just wondering, is there any specific reason why you're trying out only vegetarian food?
I am not strictly vegetarian, but I prefer to eat vegetarian as much as possible.
Okay.
So it's just that I think for health reasons, but also for the environment, I think it's much better for us to be eating with this idea in mind that what we eat has an impact on the planet. And so I think eating a mostly plant-based diet, which is what I try to do, it's not only healthier, but it's also just a good decision with all these developments around global warming and deforestation and etc. If we can decrease the amount of animal products that we consume. I'm not saying we have to stop altogether, but find a good balance, right? I think human beings up until 100 years ago or something, most of us were eating a plant-based diet with some additional animal products, maybe some eggs or some milk or some meat or fish every once in a while. But it was a luxury, and I think what happened with modernized farming and industrialized farming is animal products became very easily and readily accessible. But obviously, to produce it at such a scale, it has a really big environmental impact. And so I prefer to plant-based food.
Okay. So, what has been the favorite food that you've tried out so far? What was your favorite, and did you try any weird combinations that the locals usually don't try?
Yeah, I've been things were pointed out to me that I ate certain things that together that I wasn't supposed to eat together, and I was getting comments like, "Oh, gross! What a bad combination!" And to me, it just all was fine. Obviously, the masala dosa was a big favorite. That's one that we keep coming back to a lot as well. Um, uh, also, Bata Lambu was really good,
Hmm. Yeah.
and um, one dish that is not particularly cambio I've made to understood, but one dish that we really enjoy is gobi Manchurian,
Okay.
cauliflower in a batter with like spiciness. Like this is a big favorite of ours as well. I know it's not, I know it's not specific to the Tamil cuisine, but it's a really good dish that I've never had before until I came. We went to a few places. I mean, I think the A2B was the place where it started. Where it was one late night, and we asked our driver to drop us off at the closest vegetarian restaurant to get takeaway, and that that was the place that he took us to, and we got really good food there. Um, but then the next day, we went to a different place whose name now I have to read out because it was a long, complicated name, but it was Hirukombal Chettinadu.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
this was a really nice place, and that's the place where I discovered that the prime minister had retweeted my tweet.
Yeah.
But that was I would highly recommend that place. They had really nice food.
So, how have your tweets about chess and the food that you've been trying out been accepted back in Spain? Are people likely to come to Chennai and visit Chennai after seeing your posts? Have you been getting any responses from people from your place?
If I've been getting a response from people in back in Spain, or
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, my friends and family have obviously heard from me uh, that I was tweeted by the prime minister, and actually, I was getting some messages from back home. People just thought it was really, really fun that that happened, and of course, a lot of jealous messages. Like, oh my God, the food looks amazing! All the food that you're posting. So, yeah, that's.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts on India's chess culture and the youngsters who are hogging the limelight at this Olympiad?
It's been clear for many years now that India has a really great development program for chess, and that it's also investing heavily in chess. I think this has been going on for a few years now, and clearly it's paying off because India is quickly becoming the new superpower in chess. Even if you just look at the top 20 juniors, and you see there's already five Indian players in that top 20 juniors list. Almost all at the top of the top 20 juniors list, and more Indian players, and because of that, now more Indian players can enter the top 40 of the world. Clearly, the Indian chess program is doing something really right, and many Indian players are having success in the international field in Europe. Like you can't go to a single tournament without there being at least 20 young Indian players, having successes. So I think you can expect Indian dominance over the next few years. There's a few other countries as well, like Uzbekistan as well, that have this new guard of young players that are extremely strong. So it'll be really interesting to see how that's going to play out. But yeah, I think chess just lives in India, and probably that's why it's also so successful.
Okay. So you run Chessable, which you said is an e-learning site kind of thing for chess. So
Yeah.
where do you think chess currently stands in terms of e-learning? Is it still like in the early stages, and what is the scope of promoting chess through e-learning?
Yeah, so e-learning just means online learning, right? So the way that we look at Chessable is we're kind of like the gym. So if you're normally if you're a sports person and you play a sport, um, whether you're a tennis player, basketball player, or whatever, if you're serious about what you're doing, you're going to go to the gym to do targeted training. You're going to train, like if you're a tennis player, maybe you're going to do leg work. If you're a basketball player, maybe you're going to do arm work. But whatever you do, every sports person who's serious about their profession, they're going to go to the gym. And if you're an ambitious club player, whether it's tennis or sport or basketball, whatever, also it's the same thing. People like to work out. And so with Chessable, what we wanted to do was create an environment that was completely 100% focused on training, so on study. And because in chess we don't call it, we call it training as well all the time, but essentially what you're doing is studying, right? So we built an ad-free platform that is only 100% dedicated to studying. So on Chessable, there you cannot play games. You can go to other websites. On Chessable, you just study, and we made it really fun by adding a few gamification elements to it. So when you study on Chessable, for example, for everything that you study, you earn points, and then you can get up a leaderboard, and you can compare how the amount of time that you study compares to other people. You can talk to each other. You can share knowledge with each other. The authors who are often top players like Anish Giri or Magnus Carlsen, the world champion himself, they will, Anish Giri, for example, has courses on Chessable. But these authors, they will reply to questions from their students. So if you buy a course by Anish Giri, it's possible that he will log in and he will see your comment and he will reply. And so that adds a lot of value for customers if they know that they can buy a repertoire on an opening that will help chess players improve, and they know that they actually have access to the person who wrote this material. So that gives a lot of added value. And then of course it's interactive. So it's not passive learning, it's active learning. If you buy a book, you can open the book, you can go back and forth, but there's a degree of not getting to play out the positions unless you set it up on the board, which you on Chessable you instantly have this benefit. And so that's kind of how you have to look at Chessable. We're the gym for the chess player.
Okay. So thank you so much for talking to us, Geet. I'm sure our viewers would have enjoyed listening to you. So thank you so much for joining us. And for our viewers, for more such interesting stories and interviews, log on to thefederal.com. Thank you.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more interesting updates.